Okay, it's recorded. Okay. So good afternoon once again, everyone. So this session we'll be looking at SIDRA example 1. So before we go into the example, let's look at what this software about. Okay, a little bit brief introduction of this software. Okay, so for this software, it can be used for different traffic analysis, like your unsignalized, roundabout, and signalized, or even at the network level. So if you have your SIDRA open, I believe that everyone have it installed and with the license put it in, right? Okay, so make sure your license is about 1 year's period. Okay, all right. So on your top left hand side, you can see that there's file where you open, you save your works, and here you have a site. Site is where you create your single intersection. Like now you want to do an analysis for your roundabout, let's say, then you create the roundabout here, or signal or unsignalized. Okay, so this is a single junction or intersection that you are working on. But in some level, you may need to combine more than two. Like you have three, let's say you have one roundabout but 3 unsignalized, but you want to analyze it together, then that's where you will use your network here. Okay, but in this syllabus, we will mostly use the site. Okay, and manage will be more on your setup for your input and output, and also your licensing. I think if you can have your SIDRA open with license, then I think you already know this tab. Okay, and when you click on your site and network, you'll see that there's 2 extra tab pop-ups. One is report, one is display. Okay, but you do not see that in your licensing because there is no analysis under here. But your analysis happen at these 3 tab here. Okay, so you have a report where when you done your analysis, all the input output will be tabulated or written out nicely for you. That's where the reports part come in. And display will be more to a graphical representation of your output. Okay, we will see that when we're done with the example. Okay, this one will be more to your graphical presentation, but this one will be more to wording. Okay, all right, so under site you have signal where you work on your signalize, roundabout, as the name suggests, roundabout. Site control will be your unsignalized, and here we have freeway. And if your intersection consider pedestrian, you also can choose this one to do. Okay, map abstract will be when you need to deal with a specific. Okay, sorry, introduction. Okay, map abstract will be when you need to trace your real location for your map into your SIDRA, and that's where you will use your map extract. But in this syllabus, we won't really touch on this. Okay, and here you have import where like previously you already have one SIDRA done, but you want to put in here, then you use import. And then export will be when you have one here, you want to take this to another SIDRA file, then you use export. Okay, here we don't have export because we don't have any file right now. Okay, and then you have a sequence things here where you can adjust the arrangement of your site later on. Okay, so I think we directly go into the example so that it will be easier to understand. So for this week, we'll be constructing a single lane roundabout. So these are the geometry and volume given to you. Okay, so let's look at the geometry first. The circuiting length width is 7. Central diameter is 25. 25. Length width for entry is 4.5. What else? Okay, nothing else. Okay, another thing is here, entry radius and angle is given 20 and 30 degree respectively, and no bunching, no HV. And the peaking parameter is given as 60 for your T, and then peak T will be your 30 minutes. So what this means later on, I think I will explain later on, okay? let's look at the requirement first. And you also given the volume for each leg. Okay, so what you're required to do is to create a project for this. Name it as a robot unsignalized length 1. Okay. So now you want to do a single length roundabout. So you go to roundabout, unsignalized 1 length. Click on it, then it will appear. So how do you want to see the layout? Is that you double click it, your left hand mouse, okay? Double click and it will show out. But this is the default one. You want to make a little bit amendment so that it looks like the one that required by the questions. Okay, so before that, we change the name. Rename it to example 1. Oh, it's a little bit small. Okay, example 1. Okay. Okay, so you have the layout with you. Now you need to specify the roundabout geometry parameter, like the one mentioned here, your circulating length width, your entry length width, and also your central island. Also both of your entry radius and angle. So where to key in the roundabout parameter, geometry parameter will be click on this roundabout here. Then that's where you key in those parameter. So just now is I think it's 7 for your width. Okay, so instead of key in 7 one by one like this, a very quick way is you can, let me do, okay, let's say the question is given 7, right? Let's say you want to use add. But instead of keying one by one here, what you can do is, okay, we'll try with 9, okay? You use quick input, then you click on the side, okay? Which means this side here, all legs will means that later on, all your leg will have 9 meters of circulating length width. If you have, let's say you have 3 roundabout here, then you apply the second one here. This one, all side in all folders. Then the 3 side here will have 9 meter as circulating length width. So instead of you going into here, keying one by one, and then also switch your file here, you can use the quick input to save your time. Okay, so yeah, given 7, and then what else? 25. So instead of keying 25, 25, 25, use quick input side, which means you only apply for this side only, this example 1 only. Directly it do for it for you. Okay. This is convenient, I would say, but you should be careful because for this one it's simple. You only have 2 options, and then you understand what these 2 options means to you. But for some cases, there will be several cases here, and it is very confusing. So make sure you don't apply wrong thing. That will change your right value to wrong value. Okay. So there's a pro and cons of this quick input. So make sure you use it very carefully. Okay. All right, so we can key in the circulating length width and island diameter here, and also the entry radius and angle. So what is the angle and radius? Radius is 20, angle is 30. Okay, it's by default already. So we need to do any change. Apply. Okay. Okay, so this is how the layout will look like. Okay. Now you need to key in the entry length width because just now we only key in circulating length width and central island. So for the parameter on your leg, you should use the length geometry, okay? The parameter of your center will be under roundabout, where your circulating length width and central diameters should be here, okay? But the entry length width is under your edge approach already, so should be under length geometry. Its default is 4 meter, but ours is 4.5. So instead for you to go 4.5 for all the leg 1, let's say leg 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Also, quick input 4.5. Okay, now you see you have 4 cases, and you should understand what all this means. Okay, so here lag is, so by applying this one, that will means that all the land on your east leg will have 4.5. But because your is single land, so this one will by default for you already. Let's say you are dealing with a 2 land or 3 land. That will mean that instead of you key in, okay, instead of you key in 4.5, 4.5 and 4.5 3 times for only your east leg, you can use this one to help you. Okay, the first one to help you. Okay, but now we are only have one land because it's a single land. That's why this one is by default to you. Okay, and side will means that if you click on the side all leg, then it will apply 4.5, 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. So you don't need to click on here 4.5, click on here 4.5, click on here 4.5, and click on here 4.5. Okay, you by using this one 4.5, you see now it's all default for 4, right? And I use 4.5 with one leg, quick input. They already help you to change 4.5. Okay, so this can save your work in clicking all this leg here. Okay, and then these two will be the same, where you have different folder, because this one is under the general folder. Let's say you have different works. Okay, you have folder A, example 2 and 3. Folder B, example 3 and I don't know 4 and 5, different folder, different site. Then you can still use your quick input to key in for that. Just that you have to make sure what you want to apply is really you are telling SIDRA to do for you. Okay, so it can be convenient, but at the same time you should be careful with it. Okay, okay, so you're done with geometry. Yes. Yeah, I select side which is all leg. Why? Because I want all these 4 leg each entry length of this 4 leg to be 4.5 as shown here. Previously this one is 4, okay, given by default is 4. So instead of keying 4.5 on south, east, north, and west, I use quick input for all leg on this side. So let's say I have 5 leg, okay, then it will apply 4.5 for all my 5 leg instead of me clicking here one by one to key in 4.5. Okay, yeah, it's OLED. Actually, if you understand what it means here, then you should know this one should be the side OLED, okay? Because you want all the leg of this side to have a 4.5 meter as a entry length width. Okay, yeah. All right, so we're done with geometry. Then we need to add the pedestrian crossing. Okay, so on all approaches and exits with 200 pedestrian per hour, for all. Activate the search crossing or movement before using quick input. Okay. Oh, hold on. We haven't keyed in volume, okay? So done with geometry. Now we move on to volume. So volume will be here. Okay. This one will be still more to your roundabout layout, okay? Where your movement, your geometry part here. That's why you see a little dotted line here to divide the two sections. Here will be more to volume and your gap acceptance behavior. So now we key in the volume. Okay, so if you click on volume, you will see that there is a unit time for volume and also your peak flow period. Okay, this one volume data method will be more to how you want to key in the method. Like if you want to use total and percentage, it will wants you to key in the total volume and also the heavy vehicle percentage. If you click on separate, then there will be separately light and heavy, but same units, okay, which is in vehicle. And total and vehicle will be same as this one, but this one is a percentage. This one is in unit. So how to choose this one will be depends on your input. Let's say you have 20 cars and 10 heavy vehicle, then you choose this one because 20 and 10. Let's say you have 20 cars and then 5% heavy vehicle, then you choose this one because you have 30, 20%, 20, and then plus with your, let's say your 10% is about 5 car, okay? No, your 10% should be 2 car. So you have 22, and then your 10% here, okay? So that will depends on your input. Okay. So I think this one we do not have the heavy vehicle, so we will remain it as 0. Usually I will choose this one, okay, because the unit is consistent, and then you are dealing with 2 separate things. Personally, okay, this is just a personally thing. I don't usually use this one because this one is confusing. One is vehicle, one is unit, and one is percentage. And this one, even though same unit, but one is a total and one is a independent one. So I usually use this one. But there is no fixed way for this, okay? This will all depend on your input. Okay, so no heavy vehicle, it will be 0. But we have light vehicle. So for subflag, according to the movement, key in the value directly 75160,145. Okay, for south, and east should be 100, 250, 140, 100, 250, 1. Okay, for this one you have to be careful, okay, because here you can directly copy and paste the value, but here you need to turn it other way around. Like here, if you do not pay attention, you will key in 200, 95, and 150. But the actual should be 150, 95, and 200 because your 200 is a right turn, okay? So make sure you don't directly copy and paste for the opposite direction, okay? Ninety-five and 200. Hold on, should be this one. 95, 200. Okay, for W is 170, 240, 100. 100, 240, 100, okay. Okay, all right. So this part, this one just be the key in of your value, but the one you need to be careful is this part, okay? So, okay, so what this means is that this will be the hour for how should I say, the time taken for your data collection. Let's say you do 1 hour collection, but you want to determine the peak of that. Okay, let me pull out an example, okay? Let me think. Let's say can this will be easier for you to understand. Okay. Let's say you conduct a field work, then you want to know that one peak hour is how much. So 1 hour will be 60 minutes. So you key in for 60 here. But let's say you don't know what is the peak hour. That's why you have to use certain value here. Let's say for this number is 30. Okay. Okay, let me put it this way, okay? If you ever do a field work, right, usually we'll do it in 2 hours. And then we determine that 1 peak hour. So that will be 60 minutes for that 1 peak. And then I already know that 1 peak hour, let's say from 2 to 4, and I identify my peak hour is 3 to 4, then my period should be 60 because I already know that peak hour I want is 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. But for this case, it doesn't mention. So we use a value of 30 minutes. That will mean that in this 60 minutes data collection, the peak will be 30 minutes within this 60 minutes. It can be from 0 to 30, 15 to 45, or 30 to 60, okay? Because sometimes why we have a parameter here is that sometimes you cannot, let's say you want a peak hour volume, but you cannot conduct for 1 full hour, then this is where the peak flow period will comes in, okay? So yeah, you see, let's say you collect for 60 minutes, but your peak will be only in within 30 minutes. That's why you have a taller box here, and that is the one that we interested, okay? So if your PFP, your peak flow period, is different from your unit time volume, usually your volume factor will be different. Only when your collection time same as your peak hour that you already determined. Let's say I want 60 minutes, which is 1 hour volume, and I already know that 1 hour is what I want, is a peak hour. Okay, then my volume factor will be 100, which is not shown here. Okay, because the factor is already comes to 1. Unless you are, let's say you want 45, okay, you want to know 45, you apply, then there will be some factor here. Okay. Okay, so for this example, we use 30 minutes. Okay. Okay, so we're done with volume. Now we add pedestrian crossing. So pedestrian will be this one. And we use stage. Why the full crossing is blurred where you cannot choose is because you have splitter island here. Okay, because now we're dealing with the entry, we don't really dealing along the approach. That's why we are looking at this part, and we have a splitter island here. So a pedestrian cannot do a full crossing where it cannot directly go from here to here without stopping. You have island here, splitter island here. So the pedestrian will do a 2-stage crossing. The first stage will be from this point to this point, stop at or shuttle at the splitter island, then do the second from the splitter island to the exit here. Okay. That's why we have stage crossing rather than full crossing. Okay. Unless you don't have splitter island here or you don't have median here, then there will be a full crossing. Okay. So stage crossing, you click for 2, which means your pedestrian will move from here to here and here to here. If you click on only one, that will mean that the people come either from here to here or from here to here only. And it will stop at the splitter island here. But that should be a full cross, okay? That's why you have a 2-stage. Where is 1 stage, 2 stage, or 1 stage, 2 stage. Okay. How much? 200, I think. Okay, it's 200. Wrong. So, okay, you see you have one approach. Your stage 1 should be from here to here, approach. This is your approach lane, this is your exit lane. Stage 1 is approach, so come here, 200. and then 200 comes here during stage 2. So instead of keying 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, and 200 at times, use quick input. But how? Which one? Of course, you will look at this two because we only have one side. So we look at these two sides here. Okay. So again, if you click on south leg, that will mean that your 200 only apply for this leg, which is from here to here, here to here. Then you still need to click in 4 times of your 200 because you only apply for your south. That's why you should apply for your side, this side, which is all leg, your 4 leg, okay? Then that will give you the outcome of 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, and 200, 200, okay? Okay, so you see now default is 50, right? Okay, make sure you have it all open, okay? So default is 50. So instead of key 200 here at time, key in 1 here, side, okay. You see, you already have 200 at all legs. Okay, apply, okay. We're done with this example 1 here, okay, where you key in all the things. Then we need to clone the example 1 as example 1A. Clone side, okay. What you can do is you right click, clone side, give a 1 here. Okay, we name it as 1A. Okay. So it will be totally the same. Okay, let's say you are doing an assignment and you have a complex or heavily created site here where you don't want to do a little bit twisting because you worry that it's very hard for you to undo, okay? So what you can do is you clone it out. It will give you exactly the same site, and then you can do a little bit of twisting or trying here on your clone. Then you come back to your example, or you want to have a same site again. So instead of starting from the scratch where you do everything from 0 again, you can also clone it, okay? Okay, okay, you have done clone it, rename it. In the site and demand sensitivity dialog, you need to key in the design life analysis, okay. So you go down here. This will be more to your parameter thingy, okay? So you go to site and demand sensitivity. Go to design life. Okay, so when you do your design, you should also not consider by now and also some year after it, because you are, let's say you're constructing this roundabout, you are not having it for this year only. You may want it to service the community, let's say for 5 years or coming 10 years. That's why you have the design life thing comes in, okay? Okay. Okay, so you need to key in the design line objective as practical and growth model as compound number of your 10. Okay, so should practical paracity given growth model as compound and number of year as 10. Okay. Apply. Okay. What else? Okay. Also in the volume dialog, you need to key in 2.5% growth rate. Okay, which means by 1 year there will be 2.5% of the your current volume increase. Okay, you go to volume. Here you have you go to factor, you have your growth rate here per year. So 2.5. Okay, by judging like this, you have 3 movement and all that. If you do not use the quick input, you need to key in 12 times, right? So use quick input. Okay, now you see you have different things here. Okay, so again, we should look at this, excuse me, this first two, right? Because we only have one side. And then you need to key in for all, which means all leg will experience a 2.5 increase in the volume per year. That's why we choose side. Okay, and because here we all have all movement, that's why it's by default here already. Okay, if you have different movement, then it will list it out by for you. So by default is 2. You click OK. You have 2.5 for all length. Apply OK. Okay, so okay, so now we process the site. Your example 1A will be more to you key in things, okay? You key in your volume, you key in the geometry parameter and also penetration. And here, second, which is your 1A, will be your analysis. So click on process, okay? This is where you process the site. You do the analysis. So you wait for a while. Okay. Then after you click on that, you can see just now it's blur, right? Because you did not perform analysis just now, but after you click on the process, you're already done with the analysis. This one will be clear for you to choose the outcome. Okay. So let's look at the report part. Okay. So, some of the input are actually overlap, so you can choose one. Okay, but usually I will choose the data output because this one is more like a summary of all. Let's say you already choose movement, it will only tell you movement, more to movement. If you choose on length, it will tell you more on the lengthing. But data output will be everything. Okay. Okay. So let's bring you through some of the important one. Okay. For your roundabout, you can see. Okay. If you remember in your tutorial 6, where you need to calculate the circulating flow, remember I shared the trick with you. That's how you do it manually. But SIDRA also can do it for you, which is shown here. You click on roundabout and you can see it here. Okay. And one useful tip is that you can also cross-check your hand count with the SIDRA. Okay. It should be the same. Okay. If that is wrong, or not to say it's wrong, if that is unmatching, that will mean that either your SIDRA input has problem or you do your hand count different. Okay, because you do your hand count wrongly, because it should not be different, it should be the same, providing that the movement and also your corresponding volume is matching. Okay, so you can always use this one to cross check. And for movement, nothing much for your movement. Okay, but you will look at length. So you click on length, you can see your capacity. The flow will be the one you key in just now. Here, these are your flow, or more to your raw data. Okay, and this is the capacity, degree of saturation, delay, and also your queue length. Okay, so again, you can cross check the SIDRA one with your hand count. Okay, what else? Let me see. This is your turning movement, your OD flow. Okay, but mostly when you want to look at the circulating flow, you click on roundabout. If you want to look at the performance parameter of each lane, you click on the lane. Okay, the rest you can figure it out yourself, but that is not really important for this chapter. Okay, okay. So if you see, you click on all this is in text, in numbers, because it is report. But let's say you want to have a graphical presentation of your data, you can click on slide display, and this is where your beautiful graph comes in. Okay, let's say you click on length. Yeah, you can see that the degree of saturation, just now if you read from your report, yeah, if you read like this, right, you can't, not to say you can't, but you hardly to tell what is good, what is average, what is not good. But if you have this one, by having the scale here, you can directly tell that overall is good because This one purple is near to 1. And then your blue is about average. And so actually close to bad because it's near to 1, okay? So from here you can tell quickly, okay? Yeah, and also your level of service. If close to yellow and red, then that will be bad performance. And then close to green and blue will be good. So here overall is good. And also your Q storage, okay? All the parameters related to your length, okay? Approach will be more to your whole leg, okay? Let's say this whole approach, okay? Yep, so whether you want to present it in text or numbers or in display, that will depends on you, okay? For assignment, please check with the requirement, okay? Whether which one they want. Okay, yep, so I think you're all already familiar with the geometry, right? The one I want to mention just your inscribed diameter, where this one, okay, will be your central pass with your two circulating, okay? And then your central will be as the central, okay? So make sure you don't get these two confused. Okay? Just when you key in, sometimes it gives you inscribed. And when you key in here, you may key in directly here, which is wrong, okay? So yeah, do watch out on that. Okay. Okay, so because now you are doing the exercise, that's why all the geometry triangle are given to you. Let's say you are doing a field analysis where you get everything from your field. Then you have to key in the corresponding value rather than use the default. This is the default given, okay? So this software is not a universal one where it can analyze for all numbers. There will be a range for different parameters here, okay? So default is given to you like this, and it also suggests some of the unlike less favorable and more favorable. But this one will still depend back to your field data. Okay, let's say you're doing a field work. Okay, I think you're also familiar with your floor. Enter will be for entry, circulating around your central island, and exit will be for the to the exit leg. Okay. Yeah, so quite light for this week, okay? Singular roundabout. And next week we'll be looking at the fixed time signalized junction, okay? So, yep, any question before we dismiss? Okay, so I think you can start playing around with the software and see how get familiar with it so that it can be helpful when you do your assignment 2, right? Because your assignment 2 start this week, right? Yeah.